What is going on, guys? Today we have got a tier list of every single goalkeeper worth mentioning in FIFA 23. We've got all the icons, a few of the informs, and obviously the two heroes and the gold cards that come with it. I thought we've done the goalkeeper gold. Obviously a great reception from that, so thank you very much. And if you are here to see them again, obviously things may change, metas, all of that great stuff always changes from week to week, month to month, so things can be different. But we've got a good grasp on a lot of these goalkeepers now. We've used pretty much most of them. I think the only ones now are kind of like on the top tier of the icons, but again, the kind of biggest thing for that is plenty of people have and obviously voice their opinion. So we're going to run through them as much as possible. We are going to start with the hero goalkeepers, as I think I kind of already know where they're going. In terms of the hero goalkeepers, Campos for me, unfortunately, is just a little bit too small. He lets in far too much. He's 5'7" as a goalie. It shouldn't really matter. He should obviously have the speed that he does, but it definitely does. So he is going to unfortunately go in that C tier. Dudek, a little bit different. 6'2", was obviously a relatively good goalkeeper back in his day. Personally, I do think he's one above. I wouldn't necessarily go anywhere near the A or the S tier, but I definitely think B is a good place to start. Then we move on to the informs. I think it's good to go in type-ins. We'll do the informs and then we'll do the golds and then we'll finish off on the icons as they are relatively new to this. And the golds, we kind of got a good balance with them. With the informs, we have 3 at the moment. There is obviously more in the 84 and 83s. But again, I think if you can go and afford the highest gold goalkeeper is 57k, I would rather go and spend that than go and buy a 10k 84 goalie that's not going to do anything. So Trapp is number 1. I think a solid keeper. I'm going to put him in B to start with. Then Chesney would be A. And I think Donnarumma for me, I've definitely heard different ways for him this year. I have heard a lot of people not like him. I personally used him a few games now. We got him red in the last champs. Really happy with that to get an 89 already. And I think for me, he's been absolutely solid. Then we move into the golds. So the golds are ranging from Courtois, who is 57,000, the most expensive gold. You've got Neuer under that at 47 with 90. And you find at the moment what golds are tending to do is they're tending to go to price ranges. They're not necessarily going by kind of like who's better. If he's a 90, he's the highest. If he's then 89, they're grouped together and so forth, so forth. So 88s are together, 87s and 86s. Doesn't necessarily have a massive reflection on the game, but I think the number 1 spot that I think every single pro I've seen at the minute use is Courtois. That guy is just a safe bet no matter what. With obviously that, I do think Donnarumma's gold card is still in there. It most definitely doesn't have a massive impact being just a +1, so it has to be for me. And the goalie that I'm currently using in FIFA at this moment in time and has been outstanding has got to be Ederson. And normally, we haven't actually fully used him yet. We've used him a little bit. Alisson normally isn't that far away from Ederson, to be honest. De Gea, we used at the very start. I feel like looking back at him now, solid saver, does have some quirks where I think maybe he's just not quite the one. So for me, he's going to have to go in B. I think for me, if I was being really, really harsh, I would put Mendy in the C. He did make a few saves at the start of the game, but definitely now he's looking in that C category for me. I reckon I could probably squeeze him in B, but I'm being overly critical so that you have got a full list of my personal opinion rather than obviously what everybody's going to say. Neuer, again, another solid keeper, as well as, where is he gone? To Stegen. Solid keeper. I think this should miss the camera as well. But Ter Stegen, again, another solid year this year with him. And I think another one that I cannot wait for an inform has got to be Mignan. Played against him so many times, and some of the saves he's pulling off are absolutely extraordinary. Lloris, coming in as a solid A. I feel like Navas is there as well. Pope, he was a nice little kind of extra in the last one, but he is realistically, he's probably less than a C. But at the moment, he is not necessarily as overpowered as he has been in the previous games. And finally, Oblak, again, solidifying himself in S. And that's all the golds. I think it's a very relatively quick list in terms of goalkeepers, purely for the fact that I do think the higher the rated, sometimes the better they are. I do think it is all down to preference, and most keepers, if you give them enough chance, they will either make mistakes and not make mistakes. It's just a natural cycle. If I'm going against a pro player, no matter what keeper I use, if it's going to be a goal and they know it's a goal, it will be a goal regardless if I put 5 keepers in net or none. They just know how to shoot. They're not trying a shot from outside the box for the hope. They're not trying a first time shot to think that it could beat the keeper. They are moving around. They're bringing the keeper out. They are making sure that space is available and shooting when they can shoot. That is kind of where the extra sort of play comes, and that's the high quality. Not everybody's there, so this list is just purely for the kind of average player. I'm probably only just above average, and I think even that's a stretch at times. So this is kind of my list to you of who I personally like to use, and I think definitely if you pick any of the options, and it's nice to have a broad amount of options that can do well in this game to be able to just have fun with it. Pick the goalie you like. If it wants to be a hero, if it wants to be an icon, or just go and get a Courtois, then you can definitely go and do that. So then, the icon keepers are a little bit different because these are where the money is. Because obviously, when you're buying icons, they are a hard card to pack. That is just natural. Unless you've got an SBC, they are not that easy to get in terms of a pack value. At this moment in time, Van der Sar, as always, is number 1. We've got him at 379k for this 89. I think it was pretty obvious that, to be honest, both versions of Van der Sar are absolutely incredible. I love this card. Again, great Man U player, so he's always going to be welcome in a past and present for me, as well as being a very meta keeper in this game, like he has done in the previous years. I think there has been some keepers that have overtaken him in previous years, but this year, as a starter, we cannot argue with almost a 350 coin icon goalkeeper. Now, another 2, we have got our man Yashin, and it is going to be the 91 version. Again, another solid keeper that's going to go in S, and the other one joining him is going to be our man Casillas. Casillas is on the second account at the moment, so a review is pending for that if you want to go and check out down below. Make sure you hit that subscription button with notice. We will be getting that out very soon. Once the Hero SBC drops, we're going to be focusing a lot on the icons, and then obviously our focus in a couple of weeks will be the World Cup. But he has been absolutely sensational. Great saves on the floor, double saves. He manages to get to both corners. Obviously comes out for corners as well, which is even better, or crosses. Yashin, again, another solid keeper that, to be honest, because he's very hard packed, doesn't really get that much love. The prime, obviously, with a hat is the one to go for, which everybody goes for, so more than likely it is a wait for his prime. Then I think we move down into a couple of the lower tiers. I think personally for me, I'm pretty sure it was the base last year, but I want to say it might have been the mid. I'm pretty sure the base last year we got in an SBC was dreadful. Absolutely dreadful, and I am definitely still recovering from that. For that reason, we're going in with a B with him. I think the A for his mid version looks a little bit better. Couple of stats over, nothing too crazy, but that extra boost is going to set him aside in my personal theory. And same with Schmeichel. He's going to go in that B category because realistically, you are only paying 85,000 coins. I can go get a guaranteed S in Courtois. That is a hands down S card for less price than obviously buying Schmeichel. Yes, obviously he gets his links for him, but I do think going for an S tier that is a lot cheaper is more beneficial than going for the base Schmeichel. And we're down for the final 3. We've got base Casillas, which is coming in at 108. We've then got a mid Schmeichel, again a little bit, well, to be honest, it's a +4 in comparison to his base, so that's really good. And then we have the base Yashin. So all of them are going to be featured in that A category, purely for the fact that Casillas is mid, very good, absolutely love it. We've got a bit more speed on this Casillas, but obviously then everything else is dropped that little bit, so it wouldn't necessarily warrant an S for me. In terms of Schmeichel, like we said, we've got a bigger upgrade in terms of all the stats, a loss of 2 of speed, but that +4 is going to see him into that A this time, as well as being 184,000 coins. And Yashin, again, very similar to Casillas. We have got a 91, which is really nice, but the base is going to sit just behind him. And it's nice to see that keepers other than Van der Sar do sit in them categories in between each other. I think that normally is the way that they try and do it, but sometimes you do get stats that just squiff how good a player is, and that's normally with outfield players. Eusebio being number one. Obviously, the base is better than the mid. Even though the mid is still crazy, the base is absolutely extraordinary. But that is my list for goalkeepers today. We've got a lot of good S-tier goalkeepers, and it doesn't mean they're going to save you everything. They still will make the mistakes that every other keeper makes, but I have more faith in these keepers than I do if we went to the bottom as such. And again, it is natural progression. Normally what happens for me is I get to team of the year. Maybe I've used an informed Donnarumma for a while or a Courtois for a few months, and then we go on to the team of the year. Normally I pack the team of the year goalkeeper because it's the easiest one, and he just stays in my team till team of the season. It's the best rated goalkeeper that you can get normally, so that is kind of what happens most of the time, at least the past 3 or 4 years. So let me know down below if you are agreeing with this list, or is there anybody else that you would have put in different categories. They are all opinions, so if you've got your own, make sure you list them. Who is your favorite goalkeeper this year? Who are you rocking? How much are you willing to pay for a goalkeeper? Have you got an icon? Let me know down below. But if you did enjoy and you want to check out more content, go to that left hand side. You'll see a tier list, playlist if you are enjoying them, and make sure you subscribe down below, like I say, for future videos, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.